All right, we're back and we're almost at the end of this. So in the last videos, we basically set up the login page and everything works there. Well, at least I think it does. We couldn't really log in because we had some issues with the profile page. Now, I'm hoping that that's the case and that it wasn't that I need to actually load my this stuff right here that I have in the config, these configurations, directly on here. If that's the case, that's a simple fix. I'll just basically copy it out, get them out of here and put them in here. That'll be just as that. But I don't want to do that until I actually check and see if that is correctly, or not. So we'll figure that out in a minute. But for right now, let's go ahead and open up the profile page and let's start building our profile page. All right. So we're gonna need a couple of things here. We're gonna need again React, use effect, all that stuff. We're gonna probably use Okta Auth as well. I don't know about user history, but we're gonna need a bunch of this stuff. So let's just grab all of that and replace it for the one that we have here. And we don't need this, I think. All right, but we definitely need this. All right, we need a box on our container, and this is the profile page. If I remember correctly, yeah, I don't need a button here either. All right, so let's go ahead and on our profile page, we're going to we're gonna need the auth state. Yeah, we're gonna need this, and we're gonna need a user state and user info as well. We're gonna need all of this, so we're gonna put that in there. So the reason why we need to destruct the auth state and the Okta auth is because we're doing basically what we did in the home page, right? We're basically doing, actually we're gonna need this. We're basically checking to see if the user is supposed to be there or not, and then set the user info to null if it's not allowed to be there, or set the user info to info, and then grab the user's info if he is in fact supposed to be there. So let's just go ahead and grab that too. So this is very simple, very close to what we did in the home page already. So we probably should be able to cruise through this pretty easily. All right, so everything here seems to be already, pretty legit. Everything is fine. And then in the home page, we also did this here. So if the use state, so we're gonna do a little bit different on this one. So for the return here, what we're gonna do is if the user info. So if the user info is not available, then we're going to say fetching user profile. All right, that just makes sure that it checks for the data to be back and not and not end up in a situation where you end up with a racing condition. Racing condition basically means when you're trying to display something, but the data is not quite there in the DOM yet. All right, so you have to wait for the data to be available. All right, so that is done, and like I said, we're gonna cruise through this really quickly. And then here we're going to put in this return, we're gonna change this to a box, and then we're gonna put custom container. Oh my God, there you go, container, and we're gonna put an H1 here, and we're gonna call it profile page or profile page. Yep, sure. And then we're gonna say I believe it's user info. Yep, because the user info is available to us, user info, and then we're just gonna say name. Yeah, that's basically what we're going to do. All right, okay, so let's go ahead and hit save. That was it, that was pretty simple. And now let's test the application. Nothing is broken, so that's good. Make sure that it logs in. and it looks like it's checking for the user. All right. All right, so let's stop that. Let's go ahead and do a recompile. See if maybe before we actually change the config stuff, let's make sure that it compiles. Sometimes you have to recompile stuff, which will make it work. So we'll first debug that out. So this is another thing that I like to do in my videos. I like to keep all this debugging stuff on screen, even if it's boring to look at. So because it's a normal thing, you know, to have debugging is a normal part of our job. So you need to understand that this happens. All right, so that should have already happened by now. Let's see if I have anything in my console. Nothing here. All right, and there is a success. All right, here's my user ID. There's my profile. There's my name. First name, last name, profile. Okay. All right. Yeah, I know. I'm looking at this too. All right. So let's see. All right. So let's back out for a second on what we did on the last video, and let's actually change some stuff in here. So let's go to the custom login. Yep, custom login right here, and let's just change this to use that, right? But now we're gonna change this around first a little bit. So now because we're not bringing that anymore, this right here, we gotta get that out of there, and then we have to add some stuff in here. So first of all, the base URL needs to change to what the user will be. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the user. So we're gonna get rid of this, and we're gonna say I want my base URL to be the user, and then I want to split the string that is in my user. We're gonna split, where is it? Right here. I want to split this so that it only uses this part right here. So I want to get rid of this right here, right? The end of it, because I don't need that for my base URL. So I want to split after Auth 2. After Auth 2, I think it was. Yeah, I want to split this Auth 2. Make sure that I paste it to make sure I don't make any. Yeah, after that. And how many spaces after that? Just basically from there on. All right, and the client ID, I now can go ahead and bring it in from there. So I can do that, and I can bring my redirect URI also from there, from my Okta config. All right, and make sure that everything else is correct. All right, and now that all is working, then I can, yep, I'm gonna save that. And I'm gonna go to my config here, and I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to delete this, and now default. Okay, so I'm gonna default it, export default auth config. Why is it an error? Oh, okay, we're just compiling. I'm gonna save that. All right, I saw something on an error. Export Okta config as import as Okta was not found in config. All right, so let me see. Okta config. Okta config, where is that at? Okay, so because it's the only default, I can just get rid of that. So that means I have to do the same pretty much everywhere where I have the Okta config. So let's go to the app.js, make sure that it's also removed from there. And I believe that's everywhere. Okta config, and then here, and I don't need it from in there. Okay, cool. All right, let's see if this is working. It should be working. Let's just do a recompile just to make sure. Control C, npm run start. All right, starting the development center. Let's give it a few seconds. All right, everything's looking good. Go ahead and sign in, close, boom, there it is. Profile page, and here's my name. So, and I know it's working because I didn't hard code my name in there. It's calling the user in for that name. So, it's working as expected. The only thing that we need to do now is we need to wire up that login here so that it acts accordingly, and you also add a profile page link here, because if we look at this, the way that it should be, the way that the application is going to run in a real world, right? In a real application, is you want that after the person is authenticated and the person is in, that they have access to the links to navigate within their secure environment, right? So since this page is now a secure environment, then this page should be in a menu up here somewhere, along with the other pages, obviously. So we're going to do that, the header, on the next video, and that will probably be the last thing we'll do. And then that was it. That we'll be done with Okta, and then we can jump into Firebase eventually. All right, guys. I'll see you around.